Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. I'm actually a little bit late. It's 3:02 right now. I'm looking at my clock here on my laptop. I apologize for that. I was sending off some photos to someone. I'm going to be speaking virtually for a virtual meeting of a running club coming up, and so I needed to send a headshot and stuff, and I hate doing that. And I'm always bad at it, and I always procrastinate. And so they've been wanting to start advertising it amongst their members for a while, and they're waiting on me to send the photos. So I was like, I gotta get it done. I gotta do it. So I got it done. Hopefully those photos will work. The focus wasn't great. I'm not good at regular photos. Yeah, I'm better at video. I'm better at things that don't require focus, like the GoPro. But we'll see how it goes. But that's why I'm late. I apologize for that. But you know what? Just to give you guys an idea of how much I wanted to make sure I got as close to being on time as possible, is I don't have an afternoon coffee right now. So I'm a little bit not anxious. That's not the right word, but I'm a little bit whew, am I going to make it? I think I'm going to make it. I think I'll be fine. But I do wish I had an afternoon coffee right now. How are you guys doing on the audio version? Everyone listening on the podcast, hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are having a good run. And everyone watching this on YouTube, after the fact, welcome to you guys as well. Love to see you guys here. All right, let's see who's here live. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. And here's Frank. Frank was the first one in today. Says, after Dez's world best, I looked, and the American best for 50K for men is, for 50 to 54 is 3:39. That seems ridiculously doable. Is it? What's the pace for a 3:39 for a 50K? I'm not sure what the numbers are on that one. But if the 3:04 that guy just ran, that was a 5:50 pace or something like that, wasn't it? 5:55 something, right around a little bit under 6. So to go another 35 minutes. Is that a minute slower then? I can't do math in my head. You guys have to break that down for me. All right. Philip says, yo, what's going on? 21.58K in 1:56.09 with Laura today. Awesome. 3 water breaks for her included. Nice. That's always nice. Yeah. That was the one thing that I was always worried about whenever the dogs ran with me, is that how do you keep the dogs hydrated? But fortunately, where I was in Iowa, there's all these creeks and little streams, and sometimes there's a lot of rainwater still in the ditch, which I can't imagine how dirty that is. But the dogs would find ways to get warm, so they were always okay. But if I were running in the city, I think I would have a harder time trying to manage that, or be much more concerned about it. Lately, I gotta say though, I think my literal animal magnetism, is still there, because I've been running and people have been taking their dogs out for walks, which I think is great. And a lot of times they're taking them off leash, which I also think if you feel confident in your dog, that's fine. And a lot of times when they're off leash, they're away from the paths. When people are doing that in Chicago, which I feel they're intentionally going to that space, but that space is usually where I like to go to splash in the water and get certain running shots. And so I've been running by where some of these people are with their dogs off leash, and dogs have been following me lately. Not for a long time, but I can definitely, I see the dog and I can hear the dog starting to follow. And then I hear a person yelling faintly in the background, because I have my earbuds in. I hear someone yelling in the background a dog's name. And so that's happened yesterday, and it happened the day before that too, as well. One of the dogs nipped at me a little bit, not in a bad way, but in the way that I think sheepdogs nip, so I was being herded. So, but ultimately, basically what I'm trying to say is I miss running with dogs. Dan runs. Dan, what's going on, Dan? Good to see you. Jeff Elliott's here. Cycle on Wednesday. Sarah Mim says, hi, superb weather in Atlanta today. Went for a nice walk. Awesome. And saw Kipchoge won the NN Mission Marathon, but haven't read up on it yet. Yeah, I saw the news, as it was impossible to miss on Twitter today. But I'd like to go see the replay on that one. So that'll be interesting to watch. His final, hopefully it's not a spoiler for anybody. If anyone is a spoiler, I'll keep my hand up while I'm talking about the time for the race, and the results of the race. And then when I put him down, we'll be done. So he finished today in first, which I'm if you're on the team NN, even if you could beat Eliud, would you do that? It'd be you can't beat your boss, right? So you can do that. So I wasn't surprised that he won, I guess, because it was all team NN elite athletes. And he came in at 2:04:30, which, seems kind of slow. But then again, I'm like, no, 2:04:30 is a ridiculously fast marathon. And it's a tune-up race for him, right? He's getting ready for the marathon. So, I think ultimately, I think he's in the right spot. He's in a good spot. So hopefully it makes for a very exciting Olympic marathon race. All right. So we're done. We're done talking about spoilers for that in case people haven't heard much more about it. Not that we went too deep into it. All right. Diogo Magalay says, ran for 10 minutes today and my legs fell off. Oh man. Hopefully you found them, you pick them up, put them right back on, and you can get back after it tomorrow. Innes here says, hi Kofuzi and everybody. I don't know if you saw, guys, but Innes had like a dog parade at his house today. I saw the pictures on Instagram. He had like 4 dogs at the house, and they lined them all up and took pictures. I was watching a video. There was a dog walker. It was like a video of a dog walker in New York who had like 8 dogs with him, and there was some sort of like sculpture like built like inlaid into a wall. And so it created like a little ledge. So he had 4 dogs on the bottom and 4 dogs on top. And he was like trying to take a picture real quick with all these dogs like sitting there. And someone had taken a video of the guy trying to do that. And it was like super cute. So ever since then, I'm obsessed. And I'm seeing it everywhere because I'm like, I guess my mind is looking for it, of people that are like taking pictures of their dogs. And I do, it was something that I noticed that people do a lot along the lakefront. But I'm especially noticing it now. And I just love watching people take pictures of their dogs. It's just a fun, it's something, it pleases me. It's one of those things, All right. Matt says, what's the difference between the next percent and the 4%? Oh, there's a lot of differences. First, I think that the ZoomX foam in the next percent was a little bit more firm than it was in the 4%. The 4%, I think, had a lot more squish to it. It was almost like it was kind of like hollowed out a little bit. Like, especially if you compare it to like the ZoomX Invincible, those shoes might both say ZoomX on the side. Actually, the ZoomX Invincible doesn't say ZoomX anywhere on it. I think it's the only ZoomX shoe that doesn't say ZoomX somewhere on the shoe. But like the densities are very, very different. And so with the 4%, it was a much softer ride. And like the whole like softness and carbon like combo made a lot more sense. In the next percent, I do think that the ZoomX foam is doing a lot more work than more work than the carbon. So it's got kind of the ratio of like what you're feeling kind of flips around a little bit. So, and there's just a lot more of everything in the shoe. I feel like you're feeling the carbon more. I feel like there's more ZoomX foam, and I feel like you're feeling the effects of that ZoomX foam a lot more as well. All right. JC says, hey, everybody. He did a 5K prediction race this morning. What a beautiful day to run. And he ran the course twice. All right. Hopefully it went well. Scott's here says, howdy, all. Ted Ruth says, evening, all. Nice. Steve says, evening, everyone. 14 miler in the Rebel 2. It can do long, too. It's so good. Yeah. I keep looking for it. I don't think I've ordered it yet. It doesn't come out until like May in the US. It's still not coming out yet. And I want to say now that I thought I remember, I think it was on Believe in the Runs, the Drop podcast, where they were talking to somebody from New Balance, and they were talking about a staggered global release. And they had a reason for it. I can't remember what. I don't know if it was just still like production issues lingering from COVID. Sorry, I got distracted there because I opened the window over there a little bit. And that's the window that's like covered in like the screen on the window is like covered in bugs. I think they're all dead. Some of them are stuck in like a spider web. But I don't want any of them coming inside. And I did open the window a little bit. So I'm just keeping an eye on things. All right. Rick Sutter says, hey, everyone, going for an easy run while I listen in. Awesome, Rick. Very cool. Hope you're having a good run. AJ Munn says, hey, Mike, have you ever tried Going More Sports by Nick? What is it? BPN? Bar Performance Nutrition. Is that what it is? I haven't tried any of that stuff. Yeah. I don't know. It seems to be like that. I mean, I know he runs and he's a triathlete as well. I think he's going for his pro card. Is that what he's doing? I'm not sure. I think that's what he's doing. But I feel like those products aren't like intended for me, right? I don't know. Maybe he does sell stuff that is, but I don't know. I watch his videos. I really like his content, but like, I just feel like the person that buys Nick Barr stuff is not someone that kind of like looks like me or wants a build like mine. So like that, yeah, it just, I see the product there, but it doesn't like register as something that like, oh, I should try buying that. Martha says, hey everyone, just took a walk today and ate comfort food outside of a restaurant. Turkey burgers and sweet potato fries. That sounds tasty. Sounds nice, Martha. I was just thinking about today how I was like, oh, it's going to get warmer out. I mean, I guess I could, I was like, because I was thinking about, restaurants soon. But I was like, yeah, I guess I could go do that stuff now. But like the way that people are doing like outdoor dining in Chicago, it seems backwards in terms of from a safety perspective, because it's like there might have been a really big indoor space, which I would be feeling uncomfortable with. But to comply with like outdoor dining, they've basically taken their like outdoor seating and erected like enclosed like with sometimes with like 2x4s and like plastic sheeting, to make it so that way you could eat outside all winter long. And I'm just like, that seems even less safe to me, because now you're all inside like like you're hot boxing together. It's just weird. But I'm just thinking like, oh, things can start open. I can start going to things, or I'll feel comfortable going to things. So I'm looking forward to doing exactly what you did today, Martha. That's awesome. Carrie Smith is here. What's going on, Carrie? Affluent Journeys, AJ says, ran my first 30K swamp race yesterday. Second place overall and the first male. Awesome. That's cool. I don't know what a swamp race is. And I think it's awesome that you got second place. And I also think it's awesome that the overall winner was a woman. So that's cool too. So, swamp race. Sounds intriguing. Luis Becerra says, yo, what's going on? Good to see you, Luis. Scott said 3 segment PRs on today's 10-mile run. Can't say I'm injured anymore. Nice. Good job. Secure Elite's here. What's going on, Jody? Says good day, everyone. My mom's here. Hey, Mom. How are you? Stevie76 is here as well. Oh, where'd it go? Stevie76 is here. It jumped on me. It always does it. Whenever I take too long, it jumps on me. Yeah, see, I'm real far behind you guys. Sorry. All right. But the original one I was trying to click on was from Stevie76 just saying hi. Hyuk Lee says, hi, sending greetings from Dubai. Awesome. Hyuk Lee, are there a lot of Asians in Dubai? I can't. Dubai is like it's a very, I've never been anywhere remotely near Dubai. One of my friends, that's where he met his wife. He met her while he was in the military there. But he was in the military over there. He wasn't in the military in Dubai, but he was in the military and stationed in Dubai. And that's when he met his wife. But it's just, it seems like a very international city. I hope to go sometime. Remy says, stopping in for a moment, gives away. What's going on, Remy? Says, today's our anniversary. Followed by COVID once again, but making the best of things. Awesome. Well, happy anniversary to you. Hope you have a great day. All right. Gokhan Ozgunits. I'm not sure I said that right. But Gokhan says, hi, Pegasus 38 or Nova Blast versus Speed Goat 4. Those are 2 of those shoes are similar, and the third is very different. So I will say it's going to depend on what you want out of the shoe. If you want anything that's even remotely a trail shoe, then I'd go for the Speed Goat, if those are the only options, because that's the only trail shoe you've chosen. If you want a road shoe, I would say to choose between the Peg 38 and the Nova Blast. Well, I can't answer for the Peg 38 because I haven't tried it yet. It's not out. The Peg 37, I would say if you're running shorter distances more regularly, like if you're regularly running, like if your long run is like around 10 miles or most of your runs are in the 3 to 6 mile area, then I would probably, lean towards the Pegasus. If your long runs are a little bit longer than that, if you're putting in a little bit more mileage, I would reach for the Nova Blast. So that's how I would do it. JC said, we had a dog get away from his human during a 5K today. The dog kept running after each one that passed and no one bitten. was more funny than scary. Yeah. It's I always hear the owners getting very concerned about it when I run by and the dog starts to follow. But yeah, I feel like for the most part the dogs are really well behaved, and I think they're just excited to run for a minute. True Charthbot says, can you compare the heart accuracies of Series 1 and Series 6? I'm not sure which devices you're talking about. Maybe you can clarify that for a little bit, me, Krutar. All right. Let's scroll down. All right, I'm going to scroll all the way down because I'm way behind you guys. All right. Chris Mendoza says, ooh, awesome. Huge 9-minute PR at the Spring Chance BQ.2. 301.31. Ooh, baby. So close, but so far from that sub 3. Stride Pod came in at 259.59. Oh, man. That's the difference between, that's why I always feel like, you can't really go by, a time trial. You got to go with a chip time. But that's amazing. Amazing job, Chris. 9-minute PR. Great job. Great work. All right. Carrie Smith says, have you picked up the Magic Speed, Mike? I did order it, but it doesn't ship till like April 30th or something like that. It doesn't ship for a while. But I did pre-order a pair. So that should be coming in. Well, it comes in when it comes in, but it doesn't ship for a little while, but hopefully it ships. I mean, I always hope that stuff is going to ship early. It never does, but I always kind of wish that it would. Andreas Kotsara says, hi, how would it seem to you to run the classic marathon of Athens? I think it'd be pretty awesome. I think that my understanding, it's pretty hilly, and it gets very hot at the time that it's normally run. So like those would be my concerns, but yeah, I mean, that'd be a fantastic event to run. Shardy Waffle says, you should review the Clifton Edges. I'm not that interested in the Clifton Edge I don't know why. It's probably for the same reason that I don't like the Nimbus Light. I'm not interested in those either. Like, I don't know. I don't like these like they're trying to like leverage like the name of an established brand that they might have, or like a name within their brand. But like they don't want to completely alienate the faithful. So like, here's what we'll do. We'll make a variant and a fork off of it, and I just don't, I don't like that either. Like, be bold. There's so many shoes and there's so many years where you could be like, all right, the Clifton 7 was the year they went with this weird tail on the back and they tried all this stuff. People hated it, so they went for a Clifton 8. It was something else. Like that's the story I'd like to hear, rather than like, yeah, the Clifton 7 was good. The Clifton Edge, I don't know. Most people didn't try it. Some people really loved it. Some people didn't like it. And then they made a Clifton 8. And then, who knows what happened. I just feel like, be bold. Take a chance and go for it, David Wertinen says, are you ready for the Boston Marathon on Tuesday? I'm not, because I'm running Chicago, which will be October 10th. It'll be the day before. So I'm going to be doing that one. Jasper Mosley says, why do you never review On shoes? I've reviewed an On shoe before at the On Cloud Flyer. I don't remember which one it was. I didn't like it. It disagreed with me quite a bit. It actually really messed up my leg a little bit. And so once I stopped running in it, like 2 days later, all problems were gone. I think I mean, I just got asked if I wanted to look at the Cloud Ultra, and I was like, no, thanks. I don't think I'm going to really like that one, and I'll take a pass. The main reason being, like, I think the Clouds are gimmicks. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. And I think that, like, once On, like, pivots away from the Clouds, because there's nothing about the word On or like the formulation of the brand that requires them to be like have the Clouds, the pods. They don't think that they work. And or I don't think that they're providing a benefit above and beyond any other regular foams that justifies the existence of the quirkiness of the Clouds. And so, like, to me, it feels like it's being different for the sake of being different and not being different for the sake of being better. So I think that once they pivot away from that, then they take their, like, Swedish design, beautiful like apparel that can go with it, comfortable uppers. If they can find a way to make a midsole that matches all of those other great things about the brand, then I think, boom, they're going to take off. But until then, I think they're just going to be, crippled by, like, dogmatically holding on to the Clouds. I just think it's a bad idea. Same thing with Ultra. Ultra, I know like they're the zero drop shoe company, but I think they need a transition shoe. They should just call it the Ultra Transition. If you're coming from 8mm, if you're coming from 12mm drop of a Brooks Ghost, but want like foot shaped toe box and want to try to start using zero drop shoes, here's something we got for you. It's a 4mm drop shoe. It's in between a Brooks Ghost and an Ultra Escalante. Try it out. Like, those are two things where, like, there's nothing that requires them to dogmatically stick to these things that they've defined themselves as or distinguished themselves with. And I think that if they want to grow, they need to get rid of those things, those ideas. But at least with Ultra, I like the product as it is. With On, I don't. And so that's why I don't. Like, I'm thinking about it more and more, and I keep telling you guys about, like, man, my closet's really full. I don't know if I'm going to get to all these shoes, and there's still going to be a lot of shoes coming out later this year. And I'm just like, I have to start being really, really selective. And, like, if I agree to take on a shoe, whether I agree because someone has to send it to me, or if I agree because I buy it, I don't like buying a shoe and then, like, running in it like 2 or 3 times and then not really being able to do more. I want to try to make more, like, thoughtful decisions on it. So, like, there's a low probability of me liking an On shoe, so I don't buy them. Because I don't. It doesn't make me happy to be like, I don't tell, like, if I made a video of 12 minutes of me of giving this same rant, I wouldn't like that video. It wouldn't be fun to make. But that's kind of my thought on shoes. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't mean to be like, I hope I'm not coming off as angry, but I've thought about it so much. I spent a lot of time thinking about On shoes, and they're just not doing it for me. Yeah, Martha says 2 On runners in Boulder were the first to break the 5-minute mile in the state of Colorado, and they did it in the latest speed shoe. Elevation had prevented that till they did it. Yeah, I know. I mean, here's the thing. Like, again, On has everything but the product in my mind. They've got athletes that you want to root for. They've got Dathan Ritzenheim, who is a coach who I think is fun to root for, and he's an interesting coach. He still, like, hops in the workouts every once in a while and stuff like that too. So, like, they're lining everything is they're making all the right moves, except for, like, I don't like the shoes, so. Yeah, and JC says for him, Ultra is more about the shape than the zero drop. Yeah, I mean, I like the zero drop. It works for me. I don't need a transition from it. I can go back and forth between lots of different heel drops in my shoes. But some people, it takes them a little bit, So I think that the zero drop can help. But I also, those are the 2 things that I think about with Ultra. It's zero drop and foot shaped toe box. Like, I think you could probably get rid of one and focus on that's our thing, and get rid of the other, but not both. Then it'd be like, what? Then I don't know what we're here for, But I think that having being the foot-shaped toe box being your thing makes a lot of sense. Although if like Ultra starts making a whole bunch of like 4mm drop shoes, and it's like, well, what's the difference then between Ultra and Topo, right? But I think that's where you like, our shoes are better, or whatever, they think it is, So like that, yeah, I think there's some ways for people to go on that. All right. BubTub says, Ultra was 0 drop and 0 bounce for me. Did not feel like a runner, but great walking shoe. Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the foam, and it depends on the shoe, because I've had a couple of shoes I've disliked one shoe, and all the other Ultra shoes that I've really liked, and I've been very surprised by. And so like there's a couple of like, they have the Ultra Ego foam, which is much more cushioned. No. The Quantic foam is a lot softer, and then the Ego foam is a little bit bouncier. I think I prefer, like I find the Quantic foam to be interesting, but the Ego foam probably works better. And then, but like in certain shoes, like that Torn 4.5 plush, I really wanted that shoe to work, but it just didn't work for me. Sean Marshall asks, Mike, what shoe experience do you think was most negatively affected by outside factors at the time? That's an interesting question. Negatively affected by, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe you can give me some examples, Sean. Greg says, pro on athletes with their track spikes have worn dragonflies in disguise on many occasions. I know firsthand. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that On has been very open about it, saying that like for their pros, they're able to run in whatever they want. So I feel like it's kind of a good position to be in if you're an On athlete. And I don't think it's quite as bad of a thing as people say it is, because except for the fact that, they are making like, what is it, the cloud boom? Yeah, see, like if you get stuck on this cloud thing, then you end up with like, you keep going down like the path of like cloud boom is not a good name for a shoe. But if you're asking the public to buy these like plated shoes, but your pros aren't running it, that's a problem. I think that for a while, On should just stop making a carbon plated racer, as long as they're going to let their pros, like that guy that won the British marathon trials, if you're going to let him run in a blacked out next percent, stop making a carbon plated shoe. And then it's just like, we make really great shoes for all your training. That's where we're focused on. We're a small company, and we're, you get to say that we're laser focused, phrase that everyone in the entrepreneurial space loves to say. So you could say you're laser focused. And I think that makes a lot more sense. And then, but for racing, which is something that our elite athletes need to do on a regular basis because they're professionals, but that's not like where we're focusing on right now. We're working on it, and we have prototypes, but we let them run in these other developed shoes because, we want them to succeed, just like we want our runners to, like the people that buy On products, to succeed in their training. I think there's lots of really great ways you can spin it. So like, I just think they need to get, like, they don't make a track spike, and that's where I feel like it makes complete sense, right? Or do they make a track spike? I don't think that they do. Yeah. The other thing is on that, I do think that Nike should, and I've said this before, Nike needs to make a blacked out Vaporfly, like pixelate the swoosh on it too, just like the Martin unofficial. Like they need to make that shoe, and they can sell. They would sell. I would buy those in a heartbeat. That would just be so amazing. Yeah, I just think that'd be super cool. All right, Matt's here. What's going on, Matt? Matt, I just watched your review on best triathlon watches. Guys, Matt does really great B-roll. He did this thing in the beginning where all these watches are like falling, kind of like when you watch like an Apple Watch commercial and like there's all these watches and stuff flying at the screen. Like he did that with other regular watches. He did such a good. He did such a. This is how far ahead he is of me in the B-roll game. I can't even figure out how he did it, and he's already making these videos using the techniques. So like that's how far ahead he is. It was amazing. Really good work. All right. So Sean is saying, for clarification, like I didn't like the shoe at the time, but retrospect shows maybe that was more about the environment, personal timing, etc. Oh, okay. I think the shoe that exemplifies that the most for me would probably be the Clifton 1, like the Clifton 1 re-release. I ran in that shoe and it didn't make any sense. I didn't get it. And I don't know. People have said like the Clifton 1 re-release wasn't as good as the Clifton 1. It wasn't the same thing, but I'm like, I don't know. Clifton, Hoka made a really big deal about how it was basically took the plans from the exact same shoe and just made it again. Right. So I think me not liking it was from like, I had never run in a Hoka shoe before. I had never run in even a 4mm drop shoe before. Everything I had pretty much run in up till that day was like a Nike or maybe an Adidas here and there. So like me and like a lack of like kind of like experience and like understanding that there's differences in terms of like, okay, it's not trying to be like a Nike Pegasus, and that's okay. Like so that's one where I'm like, I might not have been completely right on that one, because of my perspective coming into it. I think the other shoe that kind of I suffered that problem with was with the Carbon X1 from also from Hoka, because remember they were one of the first to the market with like carbon plated shoes after Nike, right? And so they had the Rocket, which I did really enjoy that shoe, but it was like a really low stack height. It was a 1mm drop shoe, and it was just very weird. But the Carbon X1 also came out, and it was again like a shoe that was like, everyone was like, if you're coming with a carbon plated shoe, you're trying to take down Nike, right? And the X1 is not trying to be anything like a Vaporfly. And I think that was hard for a lot of people to kind of figure out. And so I think that shoe got a lot of flack early on. It's still not like, I'm not saying that the shoe's underrated, but I feel like a lot of people were like caught a little bit off guard by that shoe. So hopefully that's what you're talking about. Alte Izmir says, what do you think? Is Ultraboost suitable for long run? Greetings from Turkey. I'm following you. Awesome, Alte. Yeah, I think it is suitable for the long run. It's not my favorite. I feel like what they keep doing with the Ultraboost is they're not sure how much of a running focus they want to keep on it. That's what I think. That's what I really think is going on with Adidas in it. The Ultraboost 20, I felt like was which one was the one? No, yeah. I liked the Ultraboost 20. That one felt like a great running shoe. The Ultraboost 21 reminded me more of the Ultraboost 19, which I feel like it shifted a lot more of that boost to the heel, which is comfortable for walking and standing around, and took some of it away from the forefoot. So it's not as great for me to run in as last year's version, but it certainly can be a really great long run shoe. People can enjoy it. It's not my favorite because I feel like it's a little bit heavy in areas that I don't want it to be heavy, and that weight isn't doing anything for me. So it's weight that is just extra, in my opinion. But, if you really like the look, or if you've liked Ultraboost before and you like running in them, go run on them. I think that they're a great shoe. Ben's new shoes down says, I've also been hoping that On Running gets some racing shoes, people, to start get better running shoes for a longer distance, not fashionistas. Yeah, I think like the other problem, I guess it's a problem that On has, is that it seems to be very like, when I think of On shoes, I think of a dude at the airport who has his roller bag with him, because he's probably a business traveler, and also has a Golf Digest like underneath his arm, right? And so I feel like On is really appealing to people who who aren't. I mean, I'm not saying that like not that guy could very well. People like golf and running all the time, definitely. But it seems like it's not. I don't know. It's appealing to a group that's not runners. I feel like they're trying to appeal to not runners. So like it makes me question like they're, you know, what are they really trying to do? Sometimes that's what I think. Tenkai says, Saucony Endorphin Speed versus ZoomX Invincible. Which will you pick? I think it depends on what you're trying to do. If you want to go fast, I'd go with the Speed. If you want to go easy, I'd go with the Invincible. That's how I'd pick it. Brendan said, when I traveled to Switzerland, on shoes were everywhere. I would anticipate that, right? Because it's the home brand, right? That'd be cool. That'd be weird to see, though. Can you imagine if you went around and people were like, you don't have any on shoes? I'm pretty sure if I lived in Switzerland for like a little while, I'd probably be like, oh, I should probably get a pair so I could fit in. Nick 1 says, Kofuzi, I've seen you and Eliud Kipchoge doing the same supination type foot movement right before you strike the ground. Is that intentional? Nope. I would say that a lot of what I'm doing with my foot strike is not intentional at all. I think a lot of times, I'm trying to be more thoughtful about it, but a lot of times when I am running and like it looks like my foot is landing on like the outside, and then it rolls in, like that's just sometimes like I'm throwing my feet in front of me as I get tired. I'm not like moving intentionally through the gait cycle. I'm just like throw a foot out there, throw a foot out there, throw a foot out there, and then you'll catch it and it'll hit the ground and you can take a strike. So like and hit the ground and for your foot strike. So that's kind of like, you know, where it is when I feel like I'm under more control, or when I feel like I have more, or I'm less fatigued. I like to think that my foot strike is a little bit more flat, but I know a lot of times it comes out toward the outside. It looks like I'm landing on the outside, but it's not really. I don't think it's a supination. I think it's part of why my foot pronates so much, because it lands on the outside first. I don't know why I do it that way, but I just do. Martha says, does the golfer dude at the airport have a fake club for peeing in it? Yeah, that's funny. I do remember that. That's such an interesting device that exists. Strange. Steve 76 says, dude, you're getting on shoes. The hot dog says, Co with the I don't mean to rant about on, and 20 minutes later I'm still talking about on. Yeah, I know. I just think that to continue talking about them, I think that they have so many good things going for them, that like I just feel like they're gonna go the way of Newton? They're gonna be Europe's Newton if they're not careful, I think. But Benzie News says, interesting point, says to Brandon, for the on in popularity in Switzerland, maybe it's because it suits local taste. And Brendan says, I definitely think so. So there's definitely something to say for that as well. I do need to think about that a little bit more, I think. And it says, the guy who invented the On brand was interviewed on Run Pod, and he was a pro triathlete, and maybe why there is this triathlon link. Okay. Starting to make more sense. Yeah, I've heard this story too, when Benzino says the On founder noted he was using the Kush from squishy garden hoses. Like they took the garden hose, cut it in half, and then stepped on, and then did a whole bunch of times, and then stepped on it, and they were like, oh, this is nice. And I was just like, that's it? That's the story? Okay. The shoes are lightweight, though. I'll say that the shoes are lighter than they look. And Matt says, on running the next Newton, 100% agree. I hope not. I really hope I'm wrong, but I that's what I'm seeing so far. Frank says, on is a swatch of shoes. Yeah, I mean, this Swatch still exists as a company, doesn't it? I think they're still making watches. Like, I don't know how that can like survives right now, but yeah, I don't know. Martha says Newton is much more gimmicky. You can't even walk or hike in those. But they were forward thinking at the very outset of the getting you on your forefoot trend that led to the speed roll designs. See, like there's the thing is like there are some people out there that just swear by their Newtons though. I guess there are people that swear by their ons as well. But yeah, I could see like you could probably still use the ons very casually and it'd be nice, but the Newtons those are weird. I mean, it's the same concept, similar concept. But instead of having the clouds go like across the shoe, they go parallel with the shoe. But it's like the same kind of like stepping on a garden hose kind of thing, right? Yeah. J. Jack Murphy says, "What's the best shoe for $160 for tempo or races? How much does the endorphin speed cost? Does that cost $160? I think the endorphin speed is probably number one. Number two, I'm probably going to put Hyperion Tempo is going to be up in there. I don't know if it's exactly number two. Magic Speed's coming out soon, so we'll see. I anticipate it's going to be high up in that list. What else is going to be really good in there? I don't know. I always put the Boston in that list too. Boston is not $160, so that's a nice thing about that one. So. Adam Sumner says, I recently picked up the Hoka Mach 4 and really like them. How would you compare the fit of the Mach 4 to the Carbon X2? Oh, I think that they're very similar. The Carbon X2 has probably one of the more, I don't want to say most, but it might be the most, a very comfortable upper for like a racer or like a long run, workout shoe. Really comfortable. The look is similar on both shoes, and I feel like they feel very similar as well. So like, yeah, I think that it's going to be a little bit more like the materials will be thinner but stronger, because it's a race shoe versus a training shoe. But in terms of like the fit, very, very close. Martin says, no, don't the Newtons just have those block-like things in the forefoot to pitch you forward? The rest of the soles don't have anything. Yeah, I thought, like, if I remember them correctly, the bottom of the Newton looks like almost like the metatarsal rods that you would see like in the Adios Pro, but they're like on the outside and in the forefoot. So there's like 4 like tubes in the forefoot that are kind of like bouncy, but like the idea is that they roll you forward. But I thought they were squishy too. I never actually tried on a pair of Newtons. And then like the back of the shoe doesn't have anything in it. Yeah. Tenkai says, name your top 5 running shoes. I've never really thought about top 5 running shoes because people ask me my favorite shoe of all time. That's easy. Pegasus 33 Shield. I like that one. Top 5 running shoes. I don't know. I'll just talk out loud for a little bit on that one, and then I probably got to get going for today. Peg 33 Shield. I just love that shoe. It looked great. It was super comfortable. It was the first shoe that I ran in that when I ran for outside in the winter, so it has a lot of sentimental value. I also love the Gyakuso Turbo, Turbo 1, or was it a Turbo? It was a Turbo 1. It's like orange and white, and I don't know. That one just looked amazing. I felt like a shoe. It looked and felt like a shoe from the future. I just really enjoyed that one. Although the tongue was super uncomfortable. It would cut your foot every time. I enjoyed that one. I'm trying to think of what else I like super loved. I don't know. I think the 4% with the Flyknit, that's another one that I just absolutely loved. Because I love the knit material on that one. I had the Ekiden version of that shoe as well as like the original orange one that came out. And the Ekiden on that 4% was like white, and the swoosh I thought was going to be more like a Japanese rising sun color, red, but it ended up being more of like a burnt orange. But white Flyknit is just nice. I really like that one. So those are probably my top 3. I just really enjoyed those shoes a lot. Had a lot of fun in them, and I thought the designs were great. I don't know what being slots 4 and 5. That'll take me a really long time, I think, to figure out. I have to just do such an inventory. You know, I mean, there are certainly shoes that like perform really, really well. That like from a performance perspective, you know, are worth that come to mind right away. Like the Adios Pro, I love that shoe. The Metaspeed Sky, I think, is also just a really, really good shoe. But are those like, do those get like favorite spots? I'm not sure. But Tenkai, you probably want to know like what are my top 5 running shoes for like 2021, and I answered the wrong question, right? I always do that. But yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Chris Dyke says the Hyperion Elite 1 got to be on there. I don't know. I think, you know, I still have that pair of shoes, and I'm saving it because at some point I'm going to use it in the video to just dunk on Brooks one more time. Although I don't really, I mean, yeah, because I think it is fair. It seems mean because, like, you know, who's going to dunk on Brooks? But I keep thinking, like, well, maybe I need to, it's like Sean was asking, like, maybe there's something about it that, like, external factors where you got the wrong read on a shoe. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I was wrong on the Hyperion Elite 1. But then I'm like, no, remember, it's only supposed to have 25 miles of life span to it. And nobody liked it. I think I know one person that liked it. So I don't know. I'm not sure. So yeah, I still have that pair of shoes. I mean, for one thing though, the upper was nice. There's that. But I think the upper was like a direct copy of like the Vaporfly 4%, the first version, the OG version. So like, you know, you don't get a ton of points for copying. So I don't know. Martha says, Mike, make Brooks send you version 3 for free based on that. They will do it 100%. Their customer service is amazing. They just give me 2 pairs of free shoes of my choice for a reason I barely understand. Really? No, I don't think. You know what? I bet you, like, as much as they would want to, they'd be like, hey, we're real sorry about that, but let me send you a pair of Glycerin and Ghost to make up for it. I'd be like, no thanks. Not that I those are shoes that I'm sure are good. I hear good things about the Ghost version 13, but you know, we were talking earlier. I want to be really selective with not. You know, I don't. That sounds terrible. I want shoes that I think are going to be. I don't know. I have a high probability that I will have raving good things to say about them, regardless of what brand they come from. I don't know. I was listening to the Drop podcast, again, the Believe in the Run one, and Robbie was saying that the Hyperion Elite 3 is going to drop later this year, which is different than what Chris Chavez was saying on Twitter. But I don't know. I think, you know, I don't know. I think it would be weird if Brooks didn't release that Hyperion Elite 3 ahead of like this mega fall marathon season we're about to have, where like there's going to be all the marathon majors in like a 6-week period. If they don't, that'd be weird, right? That'd be weird. Benoit says, what happens if you take the Hyperion Elite 1 past 25 miles? How much worse can it get? I've got like 15 miles on it, you know? So like, I think I've got like one more run. I mean, they adjusted their, you know, air quotes, they adjusted their recommendation on the lifespan on it to be 25 to 50 miles. But that was like after like the initial like internet like backlash of it. So, all right. I got to get going for today, guys. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for indulging me on my rants about different shoe companies that I think need to change. But, you know, they're the business people, and I'm definitely not a business person. So, like, I'm sure they know what they're doing. All right. Tomorrow's video is going to be about, we've talked a lot about the Mach 4. I went on long runs with the Mach 4 and in the Deviate Nitro at a bunch of marathon pace miles. So we're going to compare that tomorrow. And then we'll do another live stream. Tomorrow's a Monday mukbang as well. I don't know what we're going to eat for Monday mukbang. We'll have to figure something out. We'll find something to do for Monday mukbang. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time, same time as today. Hopefully I see you guys there. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.